How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Early day tomorrow?
I do have an early day tomorrow. I got to go see the specialist,
Oh, right, right. You were telling me that.
the wrist specialist. Although it does, I will say that even after the treatment at the osteo guy, things feel a little bit better.
Good.
That first day after was rough, but now
Yeah.
I get it. Like I can do things I haven't been able to do before, but it's still bothersome.
Did you try ice? And what did they have you doing? Like Epsom salt, ice, heat?
Um, At the osteo visit, he did tens units, like cups
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing, and then he did laser stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
um, manipulations like pulling and pushing and that kind of stuff, and needles, acupuncture needles.
Oh, they kind of did it all, a little of
Yeah,
everything.
a little bit of everything. And then when I came home, he said, ice it, take whatever you would normally take as pain reliever. So I took a couple of leaves and it calmed down by like late at night, but during the day it was brutal. And then
Yeah.
yeah, the next day I noticed a little bit of a difference, because like it's just gotten to the point, and it's my right wrist, you know what I mean? I'm right hand dominant. So
Yeah, yeah.
everything from like shoving my hand in my pocket to holding the hair dryer to
Everything. Yeah.
washing my hair, like lifting up a kettle, lifting up a teapot, holding the pot, washing dishes, like every single thing, holding my phone, holding my
I was gonna say, even
yeah,
the phone,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Couldn't use my thumbs, for texting at all.
Right, right.
No
Oh
scrolling, couldn't
gosh.
scroll. So yeah, it just got to the point where like, okay, I tried a wrist brace, I tried anti-inflammatories, I tried ice, whatever on my own, and nothing was working. And it's just slowly gotten worse and worse and worse. But I really think I did the lion's share of the aggravation
Right,
when I
right.
was on the cruise. That whole like
Oh,
September
okay, yeah.
into October, I was like texting and sending pictures to everybody, and I would have like five different conversations going, and every like I just overused it so much in
Hmm.
September, in October, that in November is when I started feeling it, and I was like, oh man, this is what the heck's that, And then I started trying to do things on my own, and seriously, by January, it was like, okay, something's going on here. And I waited like way too long. But spring is sprung. You know what I mean? Like we're getting into spring. I got a lot of travel coming up. I'm going
Right, right.
right 2 more weeks and I'll be there. And then so I'm
Boy,
there.
that went fast.
I'm
That
there.
went fast.
What?
That went fast when you were here and you were saying you were coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
No,
totally. Yeah. Yeah.
it
So
seemed
yeah,
like, oh, it's going to be such a long time, and it's not going to be that long before you're here.
right. Yeah, it's really sneaking up. It's really sneaking up fast. And then that'll be a couple weeks in May, and then I come back in September. I'll be there for my birthday, and
Yeah,
then just booked December. So Gemma's gonna come home with me for a week, and then she'll fly back, but I'll stay until mid-January.
that's nice. Oh, you'll be here a nice long time.
Yeah, it's a big chunk, but I think I'll just spend the holidays there and
Mhm.
spend Christmas and New Year's and everything with my parents. I haven't done that in a while. Um, nothing's gonna match the trip that we did this last December when we
Oh,
when we went to Gaylord Palms. So this will just be like nice family time. We won't might not have the same stories, but my mom's killing me this week, man. She's been cracking me up. Like I said, we had this whole conversation about how she's off chicken.
why? What happened with
I
chicken?
don't know.
Nothing,
Like, how did you catch the ick on chicken? Like I feel like I grew up on chicken cutlets.
right?
I mean,
Right?
there was always a plate of like chicken cutlets and stuff on the table. So yeah, I'm like, is it handling it? Is it seeing it? She's like,
Yeah,
I
that's where I get the ick.
yeah. I'm like, so what are you on then? Are you on anything? She's like, we've been eating a lot of, we've been eating a lot of potatoes. And I'm like, oh, like just potatoes? He's like, yeah. Like Rick will make like two big baked potatoes and I'll just have a potato with, sour cream, a little butter, salt and pepper. I'm good.
Potatoes are come back with Marlene. Remember the baked potato craze in the 80s and the 90s when they had the baked potato restaurants where they just
Yeah,
loaded
the
stuff
toppings. It was all about the toppings, right?
on.
Like all the
Right.
shit. And the same thing with salad bars and the going through a line and picking out 9 million things to put on a what was once a healthy salad, but now you've got
When
everything.
potatoes lost their pop, you're right. They had their day, man. Like
Yeah,
in the 80s, 90s,
yeah,
potatoes were.
yeah. I remember one of the great New Year's parties that Donna threw was a baked potato party with a baked potato bar. Like every year it was something like one time it was a Sunday bar and it was just all about the toppings. And then one time it was a baked potato bar and it was all about the toppings. It's just I think it's the easiest crowd pleasing thing you can do that is the least pain
Yes,
in the assy. You know what I mean?
yes. Least
So
clean. Probably just have bins of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, already she's like already planning like New Year's. She was like, you have to come to Old Lady's New Year's Eve. And I'm like, that sounds amazing.
Old ladies, New Year's Eve. Are they dressing like old ladies?
No, they just are old ladies. So it starts at 6 and she goes, it ends at 10, no ifs, and
Oh,
buts, everybody out. She's like, we have like different, whiskey tastings and like a big charcuterie board. I'm like, that is really old lady. Yeah, you're
they can't
nailing it.
midnight. They just can't make it
No,
to.
out. Everybody needs to be home by midnight. I'm like,
Wow, wow.
I was like, I could kind of have my own old ladies' night with my mother, who is legitimately an old lady.
We
But
have
when
that here too.
you have old
Joni,
lady night,
yeah, Joni has she says what she calls the worst New Year's Eve party ever because it's
that's a low
her
bar.
in-laws, her mother and father-in-law, my mom and her and my sister, and then us. And it's just like we order in. I think she usually gets like the ringleader subs from Publix, or
Yeah,
sometimes she brings in other things like maybe baked ziti and pizza and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just like because of the kids, she doesn't go anywhere. And then like
Yeah,
her
yeah.
in-laws are older, so it's the old ladies, the
The
old ladies.
old people New Year's. Yeah, like I think we're all at that age, but I don't know that I want to go someplace for a few hours and chat
No,
with a bunch of
yeah,
old ladies, then come home and chat with my own old people. So I'm like, I might just try and liven up my mom because I do think that everybody but Americans love to travel. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they have their passport, and especially the Brits,
that's true. Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
they want to go to Portugal, they want to go to Spain, they want to go to Mallorca, they want to go to the Maldives, they want to go anywhere hot, like because they're
Yeah,
close there.
true.
And I'm the complete opposite. Like I love winter, I love like the cold weather. I don't care that there's not a leaf on a tree. I don't care
Yeah.
that it looks dreary or whatever. It's cold. I love it, super thrilled with it. Don't need to go anywhere hot. I was in heat for 25 years, but
Oh my God,
when
yes. Yeah.
people ask me like where are you from and I go the States, they go, yeah, whereabouts? And I go Florida. They go, what are you doing here? I can't explain it to them. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like I just go, I got married. Like I don't mind it. I like the 4 different seasons and you know what I mean? Like but
Yeah.
truthfully, like being in that heat day in and day out and day in and day out, you don't
Oh
think
God.
about it, I guess, right? You don't think about it when you're
I
living.
don't. I miss it. You don't think about it when you're here, but then like I miss it. Like if I think about going away
Yeah,
and like I said, oh, I want to come to England in the winter and everybody's like, oh, it's too cold. Or I want to go anywhere in the winter, like when I
yeah,
travel. And they're like, well, when are you going to go? It's cold, but I want to go to the
yeah,
cold. Oh,
yeah.
No,
You want
it's
to
so
get out.
hot.
I guess it's like you want the opposite of what you have. You
Yes,
know,
yeah, because when I lived in New York, everybody's idea of a vacation was palm trees, beach, sand, like anywhere
Orlando. Yeah.
but
Yep.
of course Florida. But
Cabo. Yeah.
even we did it, like that's the first place you think. You don't think
Right.
about going to Colorado maybe or someplace with snow. That's what I want to do this next snow season, God willing. I want to go play. I never played in the snow, Denise. Like I'm
I'm
60 years
telling
old.
you, there are some
I
amazing.
never made a snow angel. I never made a snowman. I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to play in the snow when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
So
Of course.
I had snow. I lived in on Long Island, of
Yeah.
course, right? So
Right.
I definitely want to
Wasn't
be
allowed.
snowing here. Isn't that horrible? And I want to make a snowman, and I want to make a snow angel, and I want to just get that feeling of being in the cold. I mean, we did that this year in New York, but it was a little bit hectic because
It
as
was
soon
too
as we
short.
got our grounding, we had to come home. Like once
Yeah.
we knew where we were and how to get around and what we
Right.
might else we want to see. So we definitely want to go back to New York, but it's to the city.
I
But it's
think
going to
it's great to go someplace where it's like a vast, nature-filled snow area. You know,
yes,
and
yes,
I'm not even a skier, but I would love to go to Switzerland. I would
yeah.
love to go to Norway. Like those are great. We see so many programs right now. I think Norway's like a real hot spot right now. Like,
Is it?
what is that?
I don't know. It's
Where
a
did that?
Norway approval. Somebody from Norway sent
That
that.
was so weird.
I
Um,
um, I love what Gemma did. She did something. Was it Norway
yeah,
that
she
she did?
went to Norway, and she's actually going back in this summer. Like she was showing some of the girls at work some pictures, and now they really want to go, but they
Yeah,
didn't want to go when it was snowy. So
yeah.
they'll go back, when it's
Oh.
nicer. Yeah, but it looked gorgeous, didn't it, with the snow? Yeah, I
Well,
would do
speaking
that.
of heat, we were at the Madonna concert this weekend on
I
Sunday.
saw that.
So,
Never miss
I was
out on a pop culture moment. I love
right.
that. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I have never seen her in concert. I don't think I would have gone if it wasn't like a peer pressure thing. My friends were going and Joni wanted to go. So, and Danny, it's her favorite, that's her favorite, one of her favorite artists. So our two gay guy friends, they said, "We'll meet you there. We're wearing special outfits." And I figured they were probably wearing some special rock t-shirts or whatever, vintage. They showed up in drag. I was like shocked because I've never seen them in drag. I didn't know they did that. So they looked awesome. People were taking pictures with them. It was so funny. But the thing is that speaking of hot, she has them turn the air conditioner off in the entire place for not just the time of the show, the 2 hours she makes you wait before she goes on. So if she's got an 8:30 show, don't expect her to be on before 10:30. It's
Oh, I
just to
knew
get
that. I knew that. I saw her at the Orange Bowl.
to know that about her.
Yeah,
But out in Miami, can you ask them to shut the air conditioning off? It was like brutal. It was brutal.
it's
And so,
disgusting. I
yeah.
used to hear stories about Luther Vandross doing that because he wanted to lose weight.
Oh, well, I heard that he did it because of his vocal cords, which is what she's saying, but she's lip syncing half the time anyway. So
Yeah.
that's a story. Honestly, I probably will get in trouble for saying this for the Madonna fans, but I think it's a power play. I think she just loves to see how far she can push people.
Probably,
know,
yeah.
because she got on the mic and she said, I want to thank everybody for going along with my request, like as if anyone had a choice of
Yeah.
not conditioning. And then someone up front said something about it because she said, if you feel hot, just take off your shirt.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, ha ha ha, right? And then somebody up front said something to her, and then she said, "Well, I don't care about your opinion of me or anyone's opinion of me." And I'm like, wow. Can I imagine if I tried to do that at the arts garage? Like, I'm not only am I showing up 2 hours late, but now there's no air conditioning and
Yeah.
everybody's got
Yeah.
to sit there in that
In South
sweltering.
Florida, in South Florida. Jeez.
Florida. I heard that there are people that have lawsuits because you know me. What am I thinking of? All the germs in this hot
That's
box,
spring. That's
no
spring. Yeah.
airflow, right? People from everywhere in
Yeah.
Miami,
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
melting pot of Miami. It was awful. It actually felt cold when we went outside because that's how
hey,
hot it was outside.
yeah. Walking
So
out
we,
into 82-degree weather felt cold, felt
yeah,
refreshing.
yeah,
That's
we left early.
that's disgusting. I would, I my friends of mine went to go see Luther Vandross, and this was back at Sunrise Musical Theater,
Yes,
um, right?
yeah,
And yeah, they the next day I was asking them how it was, and they were like, it was awful. It was so,
yeah.
it was so hot and gross, and you're shoulder to shoulder with people, and it was
Oh,
just like to go get a drink, you'd have to go through like, a massive amount of people to get, and it was, ugh. And I'm
yeah.
like, never, like, I would just leave. I would just
I,
eat that ticket and leave, you know?
yes. You know
Yeah.
what? We would have left earlier, except we had one of our friends rode with us, and we're looking over at her, and we were all ready to leave. The three of us,
Yeah.
Joni, me, and Danny, right? And
Yeah.
I'm looking, and she was like ready to pass out. And I said, are you okay if we go? And she's like, she thought we meant to take a break. So we went out of the arena, down the thing, out like where the lobby area is. And she says, did you just mean to take a break or we're not going back in? And now, when you have someone riding with you. And I said, well, we were going to leave, but if you want to stay, we're going to just stay down here outside. And then when you're ready, we'll leave. And then she goes, no, that's okay. She said, I mean, we did pay a lot of money for the ticket, but I understand. She did say that, but you know what? I think she really wanted to go just as much as we did
Yeah.
because she looked like
It's,
she was passing out at
that
one. I mean,
is, that's
it's
disgusting. That's so gross.
brutal. Yeah, just imagine. And then I wasn't in charge of the seats, the tickets. So my friends got the tickets and they got the nosebleeds. So now, because heat rises, we
Yes.
were in like
It's
the worst
worse.
part, the
Yeah.
worst part it could be.
Yeah,
So
you are. Ugh.
not impressed. So, but I did get to hear Live to Tell, which is my favorite one of her songs, and she did that like the second song. So
Mm.
that,
Oh.
that's my story.
Well, I know, like, I look at everybody I knew, like my friends in St. Pete went to the concert, and again, everybody dressed for it, you know.
Yeah,
It was just like, it was so funny. Like, I can't remember the year. I want to say it was like, it was the True Blue tour. So it had to have been like 89 or maybe 90, 91. I don't know, somewhere around there, but it was one of the last big concerts at the Orange Bowl. And
yeah,
we rented like a minivan, and we went to the concert, and we like paid somebody to park on their lawn because there
yeah,
was just like the parking lot was overflowing, and it started raining, and everybody was getting wet because the Orange Bowl's
yeah,
open, right? It's like it was a football stadium. Everybody
yeah,
got wet. It was 2.5 hours. They canceled the opening act, and then another half an hour for them to come and squeegee the stage because she was so afraid of dancing with a wet stage.
yeah, yeah.
And they waited for the rain to stop, squeegee. We sat there for like 3 hours.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
And it was just like we
horrible.
were soaked, and it was like, oh my God, like this is still the worst. The
It's too
worst.
much. Like
Yeah.
nobody's that good that you're going to sit through that
Right.
torture, but to put people through that on purpose was really awful, I thought. And like I said,
Especially when you see what a normal concert looks like with 85,000 people, you know,
yes,
and you like, I watched the Taylor Swift concert, like we were texting about it. Like I was just so blown away. Like I was never a Swiftie. I don't have a lot of Taylor Swift songs downloaded, or don't know that much about her, don't really follow it because I felt like it was for 13-year-olds. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I mean, yeah,
And then I have this really bad problem of uh if I don't like, and it applies to celebrities too, but even with my family, like the last time I saw my little cousins when I left New York and moved to Florida, then moved to London, they're kind of frozen in my mind at that age.
hmm
you know? So I think with Taylor Swift, I just froze her in my mind
Right. A lot of
at
people
a
have.
really young age and being real bubblegummy poppy country. So I never had any interest, but everybody was talking about the concert and it was going on, it was on Disney and Gemma was away. And I'm like, you know what? I'll put it on and I'll get some of my cleaning done. I'll just have it on in the background. I never moved from the couch. Like
Wow.
once I started watching it, I was just like, this is really like I was so like into the production value of it. And it's like
Yes.
I
Yeah.
finally understood that it meant the eras were the albums and each album
Oh.
had a different production, stage production. And like I was after like the second, I'm like, oh my God, it's all clicking. Like it's all clicking. This is fantastic. And I was so into it. And like I'm like, this is how it's done. Like give people what they're
Yes.
paying for, you know,
Yes.
give them
Yes.
exactly what they're paying for.
Right. And I mean,
Um,
you don't let them wait 2 hours. And
right.
that air conditioning was off, like I said, for those 2 hours prior.
Yeah, that's
So
ridiculous. That's so
it was
mean.
torture. Yeah, it was torture. And a
I could
lot of people,
see doing that, like if you were in the snow belt and it was
yeah,
freezing. Like I
right,
can totally understand it, but
right,
in the southern states, like
right. It
no,
was,
sit
yep.
outside and get your warm air. You know what I mean? Don't do that to your fans. That's brutal.
I mean, I was thinking there's got to be a health code thing. She's got a couple of lawsuits going against her right now for mostly for starting late, which I really think it should be more about shutting the air
I
conditioning in
mean,
the
I
summer.
can't imagine how many people like have passed out,
Yeah,
and left and then didn't get to see the concert, lost money on the
yeah,
ticket, and had a hospital bill to boot. You know what I
exactly,
mean? So
exactly.
yeah, that
I
kind of stuff is just it's honestly it's so ignorant. And the thing about it is like when I think performers are doing shows in places where they can't control it, like in Rio when Taylor Swift, bringing it back, when Taylor Swift did a show in Rio and somebody passed out, she stopped. She stopped to make sure that this person got medical attention,
oh
followed up,
yeah,
like that kind of stuff. You have no
yeah,
control over the outside elements when you're at a stadium,
exactly.
thing, but
Right.
you're in a closed dome
Yeah.
concert arena that,
Yes. That was
yeah,
that was that was sadistic, I thought.
yeah, good word.
It's a narcissistic move to see how much can I control these people? I'm going to make them wait 2 hours and then I'm going to put them through the torture of sitting without air conditioning in Miami. It's like what more are you going to do to us? She
Yeah,
spit on a couple of people too in the front row. She took a
dude.
sip of water and spit it on them. Yeah. That was rude.
Yeah.
She did not, I was not impressed.
I get nervous when celebrities start getting older and weirder and
Yeah.
it's almost like they're trying to stay relevant
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
she's irrelevant because she's obviously with the queers she's never going to be irrelevant. They're always
Never.
going to worship her and
Never.
everything,
Right.
but I feel like some older celebrities, especially, and I don't want to make it political, but here we go. People like Roseanne Barr, like showing up at Mar-a-Lago looking like Madame Grimaldi and saying like all these outrageous things. And I just feel like sometimes when celebrities feel like they're past their expiration date, they will
Yeah.
start getting weird. But then what happens is they kind of believe what they're spewing, like it seems like at first it was for publicity and it's for like,
Right.
for videos to go viral and see themselves all over social media. But then I think they feel that surge, like a resurgence. So they keep doing it. And then the world just thinks that they're fucking idiots and they don't care because they're back in the mainstream and making head,
Exactly. Yeah.
and it's
They
like,
stayed
oh,
apart
I
too
hate
long.
it's
Yeah.
it's painful to watch. It's painful to watch. It's brutal. But
True.
I do like people that have gotten older and then just kind of pop up out of no like right now we're watching Palm Royale on Apple and with Kristen Wiig and Ricky Martin is in it
Oh,
and Allison Janney, like all these really good people, Leslie Bibb, great.
Yeah, yeah,
And out of the clear blue, I'm like, is that Mindy Cohn from Facts of Life? Is that Natalie? Is that Natalie? And of course, I got to go right on IMDb, and it's
right.
Natalie. And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
oh my God. First of all, perfect character to come back with.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah.
perfect character to come back with. And
I
I'm
look
like,
for that.
I love that. Like, I really, really love that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like roll
Yes.
low till you find just the right thing. You know,
Yep.
don't panic. You know, don't take shit parts, and then boom, come
Right.
back with something that's perfectly suited for you. You know, like I was like,
Exactly. Right. Right.
yeah,
What is that show? What did you say it was?
Palm Royale.
I have to look for that. Palm Royale.
We're on episode 4, and we just said to each other tonight, it's very slow moving, really slow moving. It's not a comedy, it's not a drama, it's just kind of quirky. Like it takes place in the late 60s, early 70s around Vietnam, but it all takes place in Palm Beach, and it's about the real wealthy society and, like the club, and all the matriarchs of the club, and, one young woman's struggle to really want to be in it, and the lengths she'll go through to be in it. But it's not grabby, like it's not grabby. And I hate that because I want to get sucked in like
Yeah.
in one or two episodes, and then like I just want to, want to keep watching it. But
Right. Right.
it's a slow burn, so I'm hoping
Yeah.
it's a little better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not awful. I mean, I love the era that it's filmed in.
Are the people that are in.
Was it you that we were having this? It seems like everything right now that you watch is from a different era.
Yes. And it seems
Whether it's
like
the
the 80s,
80s or the 90s, or you can't quite tell. Like
right.
I know
Right.
this isn't like present time, but I can't quite
Yes.
yeah. So
A
there,
lot of
yeah, it's
things.
pretty yeah, it seems weird that every single thing is like that right
Yeah.
now. Everything. So yeah,
Make it,
we just can't find, like I went through so many series while Gemma was gone. Like I binged all 8 seasons of Monk.
oh, wow.
I know. I
You
know.
know,
It was just the weirdest thing. I was like, it was new on Netflix, and I'm like, I didn't ever watch this when it was on regular TV.
me either. Not like totally, just an episode here and there.
Not even
And like,
like I never watched one episode. And I
oh,
was like, I'm gonna give it a shot because I loved him in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
yeah.
as her dad. And I mean, I kind of like him in anything, so let me give this a shot. And I was like, I was into it. Like I watched all 8 seasons in that 3 week period. It was like, yes, it was perfectly fit. I ended it like the day before she got back,
Have
and then I had to
you
find.
ever seen Life Itself? I think it's from maybe, I don't know, 2000, I don't even know, 14, 15, 17, in the
Nope.
teens. It's got a lot of stars, but for short periods of time because it goes through different parts of different stages in a family's life, like different generations, I should say. So it's got like Antonio Banderas, it's got Gene Smart, it's got Mandy Patinkin, it's got Annette Bening, but they're not in it for the whole thing. They're just in it for the different, decades or whatever. It's a long movie, but it's kind of told from the granddaughter's point of view of this family. It's really very interesting. So
I
there was
love
a lot.
Mandy Patinkin. I
There's a
love
lot of Bob Dylan's music in it, or some of Bob Dylan's music in it, because one of the stages of the generations, the woman loved Bob Dylan. So she wanted to name the girl, she names her daughter Dylan, and she's trying to get the husband to like
right,
Bob
right.
Dylan. He doesn't like it. And it's,
I
if
get
you
that.
want,
I like
like,
Bob
it's
Dylan.
the only part that was a little, I think they could have really made shorter was the part with Antonio Banderas. That part of the story made it draggy. Like if they made that part of the movie a little shorter, it would have been more, for my opinion, my
Yeah.
humble opinion, more,
No,
more.
I never heard of it. And it's a shame because I do love Mandy Patinkin. Like
Yeah, he was
we
great
just
in it.
watched,
Yeah.
I guess it was, I think it was on Disney too, called Death and Other Details.
Okay, no, I didn't see that one.
He's really good in it. Like he plays a detective, and again, not quite sure when it takes place, but it doesn't seem like right now. But
Right. You can
yeah,
tell a lot of
but
times by the phones they're using. You
uh,
know, if they're
well, it was a little bit hard because it was about a bunch of wealthy families that were on this boat that a guy spent millions and millions of dollars on to recreate like a certain era, like an old
Oh, I
boat,
see.
right
Yeah.
down to all the
Oh, okay.
um but he plays a detective in it, and it's very like, have you ever seen Death on the Nile or the Orient Express and the Agatha Christie ones?
Oh, I've never seen any of those.
It had like a little bit of that feeling to it, but it was good. Like there was a lot of familiar faces in it, and we like got sucked right in. There were, I think it was like eight or nine episodes, eight or 10 episodes, I can't remember, but we did that one. We went hard on that one. It was really good. I liked it. And I just loved him. I loved him in
Check
Homeland.
that out.
He was
Mm-mm.
so good in
Yeah,
Homeland. Like
yeah.
that, I
Criminal
saw that
Minds.
Homeland was back on Netflix, and I'm like, I don't know that I could watch that again. Like that was so intense and so um like took your breath away. Like certain, especially in season one, Jesus Christ. But even the ending, I don't even remember how many seasons it was, but it might have been just past my intensity level. Like, so I don't think I could watch that again. Like, mm-mm. There's certain seasons, like there's certain shows I can watch from start to finish all over again, like Schitt's Creek, Ted
Yeah,
Lasso,
yeah,
the
yeah.
feel goods, Gilmore
Check
Girls, stuff like
out.
that. Yeah, but that was a little bit too. It was hard to stomach the first time around. Like I don't know that I would do it again. Tough, tough, tough.
A new movie out on is it Netflix? Netflix or HBO Max? I want to say Netflix. About it's called oh man, I got to get it right because it's the name of the brand. It was a brand of clothing, and it came out targeted towards uh, teenage girls, and it was a one size fits all, but very small. So it was kind of only thin fit girls could wear it. So anyway. There was a whole. It's a documentary film
Oh,
on this, and they used Instagram to advertise for all their advertisement. They never spent any money because they got these young girls to start
the
advertising
ambas-
the
the
clothes,
ambassadors. Yeah.
the ambassadors, and they would send them a box of clothes and they would have to take pictures. And basically those girls were the photographers, and their Instagram was their platform for their advertising. It was kind of genius. The stores popped up everywhere in different countries. Like there was one in Italy, there was one in London, there was one in New York City. God, I wish I could remember the name of the clothing now. Anyway,
Feels Lululemon.
like a Lululemon, but it was started to have a negative stuff to it because they started treating the girls badly then that were working for them. They weren't paying them much. They were like the person behind it was this guy, and he was just like just cared about making the money. Of
Mhm.
course, body shaming started because the chunkier girls couldn't wear it, and then there was a whole thing about how about what was the thing that was the main thing? I don't know. I didn't get to see the whole thing without being interrupted, but I'm going to go watch the whole thing from start to end, from beginning to ending, because it was interesting to see. Oh, I know what it was. Because they were like, they call it fast fashion. First of all, they were copying other brands' fashion, and they were making it so quickly because they were using sweatshops in third world countries.
It's
So
just
that was
every
a big
level of wrong.
scandal came up,
Like,
right? Every level of wrong.
yeah.
And they showed you the people that they hardly got breaks, the people working, making these clothes in the factories, working under terrible conditions. They had this thing where they would have like 1,000 new styles in a week. Every week they had new styles because they were copying them and pushing them out. And then where do all these clothes end up? They would end up in like the bins that you throw the Goodwill because they weren't expensive. So
They're
if they
shit
could
made,
like
yeah.
Taylor Swift, for example, they got her to wear one of their tees. And of course, all the girls wanted that t shirt, but it wasn't very expensive. So you could wear a shirt for $15 that Taylor Swift was wearing. So what ended up is that in Ghana, all of these clothes are being brought to that country in these big trucks because I guess they feel they need clothes there. And then they get thrown in the ocean and washing up on their shores. So
Mhm.
they have a big problem there with all of these clothes.
Yeah.
And that was
To
the worst
be honest
part.
with you, they have a big problem with all recycling,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep. Yep.
and
All
that's
of it. But I
kind of
never
where it
thought
ends up.
about clothes. But
Hmm.
that the fast fashion clothes are the ones that are the problem because they're inexpensive and they're in, they're out. They're here today, they're not in style tomorrow. The young girls
Yeah.
were able to go and buy a big bag of clothes for not a lot of money and get on Instagram and talk about it. And then, you see where it's being made and the people that how they're being living and being treated. The whole thing, you're right, on every level. The guy behind it, he was like the wizard behind the curtain. Nobody saw him.
Yeah.
Nobody saw the real person behind this. Was
I don't, I hate to, I know this is like really enlightening to you, but this has been going on for so long, but
yes,
on every different level from sneakers to sunglasses.
yes,
So it's
yeah,
not really just clothes, but there is always one mastermind behind it. And it's only going to get worse with AI, you know, because
for
people are
sure.
going to sign their consent forms to use their images and you know,
True.
it's already like they Photoshop a lot of like celebrities wearing like, certain things that people are trying to sell, whether it's like no more Trump, or whatever, and
Yep.
they'll put Tom Hanks's head on it and say that he's walking around in that shirt, and it's just like, come on, man. But I think as grown-ups, for me, I'm super sensitive to that kind of content. Like
Yes.
I don't acknowledge it, I don't click on it, I don't look at it, I don't pay it any attention. I don't like it's bad. And it's like I feel like that it is because like I don't know about you, but like if I watch a clip and they're showing, like how bad it is in Gaza, but yet there's like kids wandering around and they're wearing like American football shirts. So
Yeah.
like that shit's going, like you said, going to Ghana, but it's also going everywhere, like
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's how when you see these third world countries, like they show the Sudan and these people are wearing, Adidas shirts and whatever, you're like, oh my God. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's not
so
great.
true. And it's called, I just looked it up, Brandy Melville. But Brandy Hellville is the name of the documentary. But the brand was I had never heard of it, was Brandy Melville. And the whole mastermind part of it, the mastermind part of it was for making the money quickly, is they got the young girls in
It's
like
just
just
like what didn't I tell you like how much of that shit we get in our Instagram account? Like wear our pride wear our sunglasses, be
oh
ambassador.
yeah, I get that too. Yeah.
It's like they don't even look to see how old you are. Like, really, do you want a 55-year-old fat girl to be your ambassador? Have you even looked at the page? So it's
You know
like,
what? They see me with sunglasses and I get a lot of being ambassador to wear our
me
sunglasses.
too. Me too.
That
Everything from hats to sunglasses to pride wear to
uh,
sneaker. It's so stupid the way they use people. They're trying to pass these laws in Congress now that protect your privacy a little bit and trying to put a stop to this kind of thing. But, you know, we can blame the guy behind the curtain.
yeah,
We can
yeah,
also blame the Zuckerbergs,
yeah,
of the
yeah.
world that have all the money and they keep putting it into the metaverse and AI technology and new, 3D glass, goggles or whatever. You
Yeah,
put
yeah,
all their money into that, but they can't pay a team of people to, protect against misinformation, political propaganda, Russian bots,
right.
and this same kind of stuff that you're talking about. Like,
Yeah,
why?
yeah,
Why wouldn't you put the money in to have a safer service? You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because
yeah.
the more and more what I hear is that Facebook is for your grandmother, Instagram is for your teenager, TikTok is for your tweenager. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So
What's beyond that? Is there something newer than that, than TikTok?
I think Threads is for pretty much I look at my Threads thing. It's people that are trying to protect trans rights and standing up for themselves. Trans people standing up for themselves. It's a lot of feministy stuff. It's a lot of Trump bashing, which is fine. Like I'm here for that, but it's yeah, it seems like it's a place where you're purging your soul and then you're sitting back and waiting because my thought is that all the Twitter rejects are
Mhm.
going to slowly start moving over there because they get their fun, picking on liberals and picking on, gay
Right.
people. They're going to
Mhm.
find their way, and right now I feel like Threads, we're kind of fishing for them so that we can hurry up and block them. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, it's a little bit weird right now. It's weird, but I do notice, like, I think my algorithm on Facebook is so bad. I got an ad for a drum set.
Oh,
Me, me. Like my house, you could hear a pin drop during the day. You know what I
why
mean?
would
Like,
you
there's
get a
times where I don't even turn the TV on until dinner time. You know what I
job?
mean? Like it's so, and they put a drum set, an
Oh
electronic drum set.
God.
And I'm like, do they not? They don't know me at all.
Wait, you don't turn your TV on all day? What
Sometimes,
do you think?
sometimes.
I need it on so I don't stay stuck in my head.
I
Like I
do,
can't.
well, I do. I will put mindless stuff on if I'm like sometimes I've just had enough. Like I've just had enough of noise in general. So
Yeah.
I will turn it off after the news in the morning and just have like a little period of nothingness, which is
Wow.
great. You know what I mean? Like I can fully concentrate on what it is I'm doing. And then,
Yeah.
and then I'll put something else on, but I will put like mindless
Mhm.
television on, like Selling Sunset, Selling the OC,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beverly Hills, like those kind of reality bullshit shows that you really don't care if you're folding
Right.
the laundry in another room and you missed it. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Right.
it's emotional support television, I think it's called.
Oh, I get it. I
Emotional
need
support TV. Yeah.
I
But I
need
can't I can't watch exploitative stuff. Like, I can't watch a show about a 500-pound woman and I can't watch a show like hoarders and
oh yeah.
I
Too
can't really,
explore.
literally, I can't watch anything from TLC, basically. But I will
Oh, you
watch
have
like,
to be a freak. I swear at TLC you have to be a freak to get on any of those shows.
and I
And
can't watch that. I feel like they're really
boy,
they're
they do.
exploitative. Yeah, they feel wrong. They just feel
Especially the
wrong.
500-pound people. They're
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah. And throwing
yeah.
people in those situations too, like 90 Day Fiance, like you're literally throwing them in situations that are emotionally scarring for them. It's bad. It's not
Yeah.
healthy, and then they're filming them on top of all of that. It's just like, oh my God. Like I'll watch a reality show about rich people any day because they're already self-entitled brats and we're all watching because they're making us sick, to our stomachs.
Right,
So
right,
that kind of thing I'll watch, but it's really hard to watch. It's really hard to watch the other stuff. So yeah, I'll put on some shitty reality, but I do love looking at the houses. I'm like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
crap, $23 million for a 6-bedroom house on the ocean. Like looking at all the different details and like look at the floor, look at the tile, oh the bathroom, oh my God, like that. Like I
Yeah,
will watch it, stop what I'm doing to look at the house, but once the girls start cat fighting and it's a bunch of shit, yeah, I can go wash dishes now. No big deal. Yeah.
There was Melissa Etheridge was on an episode of one of the Housewives episodes, and it was that one of the husbands, it was one of the women's birthdays, and her husband hired Melissa Etheridge to sing at her birthday party. So they were in this nice restaurant, and they had a private room. And then it's just so funny how you say the rich bitchy women, because only like a couple of them are like, she came out to sing, right? She walked out from behind a curtain or something, and then they're like, he's like, oh, I got you a special surprise, and then out comes Melissa, and she's playing the guitar. It was just her acoustic, and they were like, oh my god, and then there were like a couple of them going, who is that? Like, because she was in the middle of telling a story about herself, and then this here comes Melissa Etheridge to ruin it, right?
Oh
And
my
she's,
God.
I don't even know who that is. And you could see the camera going on her. And then she goes, was she under the table the whole time? Like as if Melissa Etheridge would have been hiding under the table
Yeah, I
for
mean,
the
they're
whole
so
dinner.
stupid.
You know?
The best
Real,
was,
so absorbed, so self-absorbed. You were
yeah,
right.
I
It's
was
like, oh
watching
God, the
I was
reaction.
watching Selling Sunset today, and I normally will turn the TV off the minute Gemma walks in the door because she has no patience for that kind of bullshit television. And I didn't quite hear her put the key in the door or whatever, and she walks right in at the time when mind you, these women are getting like $300,000 commissions for selling these houses.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
like they are so wealthy, it's sickening. And
yeah.
they're partnering up and they're showing this amazing home in Laguna Beach, and they're walking through and they're talking about all the different detail and everything. And the one lady said, and this guy has a phenomenal pen collection. Like he's got pens from like way back, like a pen that Abe Lincoln used, and it's
Oh.
worth so much money. And then they're like walking, and the other girl goes, "Oh my God, Abe Lincoln, he was like the first president, right?"
What an
Like,
idiot.
like you can't not laugh at how stupid these women are. And the one
Yeah.
goes, "No, that was George Washington." And she goes, "Oh, right, but he was a president." Like she was questioning whether he was even up. I'm like, oh my God. And that's right when Gemma walked in, she was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." Click, click, click. So embarrassing. But yeah, it's like, God, pain,
That's
painful.
funny.
Those are the moments, though. Those are the moments I wait for. Those are the juicy nuggets.
Right? Well, like the way
Make it okay to laugh at them.
so self-absorbed, she's thinking Melissa Etheridge would have been under the table the whole time during the. And who is she? Really? She was playing "Come to My Window" or something. Like, how do you not know who she is?
Oh,
Of
Jesus.
course, the other women were like, "Oh my God," like they wasn't all. It was just a couple of them that were acting like that, but
Probably the really young, dumb ones.
really self-absorbed.
Yeah,
They just
it's
get
like
the
it
story.
makes you wonder, like they must know that they're not the sharpest tool in the shed, and yet they're perfectly okay going on a show that like letting the world know that they're dumb. Like it's like, woo, woo.
And fighting with each other. They're always arguing with each
Oh,
other.
totally, yeah. But yeah,
Oh,
I can't. I'm really limited. I remember back when I was living in Florida, especially when I was single, and I would have like Sundays to myself, and I would just like hit my bong and watch Bravo all day long.
uh,
And I was like, oh my God, I knew everything about the Real Housewives in New Jersey, the Real Housewives in New York. I didn't like any of the West Coast, but I would watch all the East Coast ones. But yeah, I knew all of them. Like I knew back when Bethany Frankel was a nobody, and
yeah.
Jill Zarin was like begging her to come on the show, and she didn't even know if she wanted to. And now look at her with her
Show
skinny
made her
margaritas.
famous. It was that show that made her famous, right?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I was watching it way back then. Like but like I think it's like you go through periods, and then you can't have it anymore because it's like too much garbage in your brain,
That's too
and you got
much.
to empty the bin and watch a couple of documentaries, and then you can go back to watching the trash TV.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't watch that. I watch other trash reality TV, but I don't watch The Housewives. But I watched that episode because I heard Melissa Etheridge was on it. That's the only reason I
I just
watched.
heard she was on what was she on the Country Music Awards?
Yes,
Yeah.
with Jewel, I think it was, right? Or was
I don't
it was
know. I just saw a clip of her singing with, I think, Kelsey Ballerini.
Oh, that's who it was, Kelsey
Yeah,
Ballerini.
yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, okay, that's all right.
That
She's
was
everywhere
yeah.
right now. Yeah,
Well, she did a Crossroads with Dolly Parton years ago, many
yeah.
years ago.
I love Dolly. I really do. I really
Jolene.
think like if Dolly and Taylor Swift ran the world, it would be such a better place. Such a better place. We can dream. We can dream. All right, my friend, I'm gonna let you go here. It's
It's
getting a little bit.
fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm working on getting Nick back.
Okay.
Got a couple
Next.
questions for him about some movies that are coming up.
Oh,
Yeah,
great. Next
and
week, got Galvin coming on
he's
from.
from.
He's here from in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale, very active in politics as an advocate for LGBTQ rights in the community. And he's got a project right now called Safe Schools, Florida Safe Schools. I don't, that might not be the exact name, but he'll tell us all about it. Very, very worthy causes he's always involved
That's
in the community.
fantastic.
Awesome guy. We've been on Happening Out TV a couple of times. We've been on the same episode, so I've seen him as hosting. It's a news show, an LGBTQ news show, and we've been on the same as guest hosts.
He's adorable. He started following us. I followed him. He started following us. So yeah,
Yeah,
I was checking him out. Scott Galvin. Galvin.
got Galvin
Great. And he's next week.
next week. Yes.
Okay, terrific. And yeah, there's a couple people I'm working on, but yeah, so we'll see if we can get Nick back. We got Scott coming up, and I really want to talk to the lady that you met at Pride.
Yes, I have been. She's so busy. We haven't been able to connect, but we will. We will. I mean, it's funny because Danny knows her sister-in-law, and Joni worked with her at CityLink, but I haven't been able to. We've been missing each other, but I'll get in touch with her, and
That'd be
we'll.
great. Yeah, it's good. We got some good stuff coming up, and then when I'm there, we'll have to do some kind of stuff
Yeah,
while I'm there.
we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Definitely. All righty. I can
Have a
give you
good
your
night.
Christmas present then. I still have your Christmas present.
Oh, perfect. I love a gift upon arrival.
Yes.
Brilliant. All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Why do you always run?
It's like never stop chasing your dreams.
We drank way too much whiskey.
There, that's see.
And I confess, my addiction is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? Your addiction. her touch. That's true.